Welcome back to Into the Riot, the home of the Claret and Cobalt loyal listeners. Listen, they told us the deck was stacked against us last week in Atlanta. Short-handed, check. On the road in a hostile environment, check. Geez, Kevin, I feel like I'm at work checking boxes all day. Another debut for RSL, double check. But here's the thing. Real Salt Lake doesn't care about your narrative. They didn't go to Atlanta to survive, and they certainly didn't steal the result. They walked into the bins, lit a match, burned the place down, and took all 3 points. I'm Mike, and I'm here with my brother Kevin, and we're here for you, our loyal listeners. Before we get the show started, though, Kevin, we got to give a shout out to Morgan Gilovagi. He had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. Let's start the riot.
Sergei Salans is through! Sergei Salans! It's a dream goal for the rookie! Hazarkani! What a goal! Yet another teenage breakout for Real Salt Lake! Here's Gozo, the ball forward from Quinton. Gozo with space, Gozo!
Again, thank you for being with us, you loyal Claret and Cobalt faithful. Buckle up, because we're reviewing our Real Salt Lake visit to Atlanta, where they did not steal anything. They took 3 points from Atlanta. Kevin, this wasn't just a win. It felt like a statement.
Yeah, the team put on a clinic, especially that first half. 3 goals in 20 minutes. And the story, this club powered by youth. Salonis, Hazarkani, Gozo, the Academy boys aren't just filling in anymore. They are taking over the stat sheets. We're talking about a 3-2 victory that honestly felt more dominant than the scoreline read. A 3-goal blitz on the road. Real Salt Lake dropped 3 first-half goals on Atlanta United and stormed out with a 3-2 win, jumping to 2-1 on the season, and really announcing to the rest of the league exactly what this roster is built to be. Fast, youthful, fearless, and absolutely ruthless in transition. And Mike, the numbers don't lie. 48, 10, and 18 all time when RSL scores first under Pablo Mascheroni.
Yeah, that's becoming a real stat, it seems like. I mean, I hope we don't have to not ever see that thing not take place. That stat continues to grow and grow.
Yep.
But with your, you talk about the scoreline and, it's a 3-2 win, this and this and that. I hope we can shake that narrative and say, yeah, Real went in and dominated. They didn't just barely squeak by. I mean, 3-2 win sounds like they barely squeaked by, but it was a whole different story than what the scoreline does read. The composure from this shorthanded young squad is something else. We've got a great show, we feel like, today for you, and we're going to break down the 3 goals the RSL scored against Atlanta, Morgan Giovanni's first start, which was very exciting, and look ahead to another massive home clash against Austin FC this weekend. The momentum, the confidence, the composure, starting to be real. Kevin, what did you see?
Well, on paper, this game looked like a trap game. We were still missing Luna, Yedlin, Piol, Anelli, Olentunji. I mean, it just keeps going. 7 players out. There was a massive crowd at the Benz, and we were starting 4 Academy homegrowns. We had Justin Glad, Xavier Gozo, Aiden Hazarkani, Lucas Moisa, and then Griffin Dillon was subbed at half for Moisa to make his debut. So 5 homegrowns in this squad. But Mascheroni didn't just set up this lineup just to survive this match. He wanted to punish Atlanta's high line.
Yeah.
We saw fluid play from a 3-2-4-1 formation when Atlanta tried to build out from the back. And this formation really smothered them. The key was the energy from Noel Kalaskan and Luka Moisa in the double pivot. And they made it really hard for Cooper Sanchez and Steven Alzat to breathe in the midfield. Especially that first half, Mike. It was fast. There was just so much pressure. The way that the squad won the ball back and attacked, it was just another impressive showing from the boys.
Yeah, you mentioned a list of players that were missing: Luna, Ledin, or Yedlin, Nelly. They're all veteran players. They've all been in the MLS, and it's not just a small miss. We're missing a lot of experience out there on the field, and these boys are just coming in and killing it, just taking over.
Yes, they are.
You talk about our clinical first half blitz. Let's talk about the goals and kind of go into them just a little more detail. You talk about them pressing and the speed in which RSL played in that first half. Mm-hmm. This first goal was no different to what they're doing in their system. It starts with a forced turnover. Morgan Giovaghi wins a loose ball at the top of RSL's 18-yard box. He drives up the field to the half line, causes the defense to collapse on him, and then he plays a perfectly weighted ball. I've not seen a ball played like that in a long time. I mean, it was like we were watching the English Premier League. It was absolutely gorgeous. So he played a perfectly weighted ball. No, go ahead.
Oh, we talked about this while we were watching the game. And as a fan, I don't know how you even can argue this, but everyone in this squad has bought in on the formation and style of play.
Sure they have, yes.
I mean, and you talking about Gila Vogie winning that ball at the top of Real's 18. This guy's all the way back playing defense. Everyone's playing defense. I guess that's why you pay the $5 million for a guy like Gila Vogie, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, if he's not.
But even when he's.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. I was just going to say, I mean, even when he's not scoring, his presence opens up for others, and having the opportunities for others.
Absolutely, and the pass that he made into space, where Sergei Solas could run onto it and score his very first MLS goal in the 24th minute.
Yep.
Not 3 minutes later, RSL is in possession this time. It came, they won the ball further down the field in their defensive area, but they held possession for a little while. Justin Glad plays a ball into Solanas, who flicks it on to Aiden Hizarkani, and Aiden buries it again with his second goal in as many matches. I mean, the composure this kid has. I mean, he had 2 guys on him in the box.
Yeah.
And the ball, it got caught underneath him, but he still had the presence of mind to get it out and get a good power on that shot and put it in the back of the net. It's just been crazy to watch these young boys play this game at the level that they're playing.
Yeah.
Not far after that, just before halftime, and this it kind of put a damper on things. Atlanta gets one back with a great ball into Aleski Marinchuk. And this guy, he's a player. He, he's a very talented tactical player, and when he gets it into the position there, he got it. There's no way he's not going to score the goal.
Yeah.
But then, when I coached in youth competition leagues, we always talked about the 5-minute rule, and it wasn't. I think it was maybe 2 more minutes after that, just before halftime. RSL comes with another great ball down the side of the field from Philip Quinton. Xavier Gozo had a beautiful touch, brings the pass down from Quinton, and then he cuts inside, and then with a banger of a shot, curls a left footer into the side netting, cap his second goal on the season. And that's the kind of goal right before halftime, which we thought as RSL fans, that was happening to us. But this is the kind of goal that rips your heart out just before halftime.
Yep.
I mean, this is cutthroat football being played by an 18-year-old Xavier Gozo down the touchline. It was awesome. But Kevin, we've talked about this a lot, and this has happened in the last 2 matches now. The hookup from Philip Quinton to Gozo for goals. And what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, we have talked a lot about it, and I told you from last year, I wasn't really sure about him. To me, he didn't really show that well last year. But yeah, the form that he's in, people are right. He may not be the quickest defender that we have or anything like that, but he has been solid on that back line, and the passes that he has delivered to Gozo, in our home game against Seattle, he had a long pass down the line to Gozo that set Gozo up for an assist. And then, this game with Atlanta set him up for the goal. So, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing to fill in for Yedlin. And, but I think with the form that he is in, I'm not mad.
No, he's doing much more than I thought. I was the same mind frame you were last season. It's like, oh no, Quinton's starting today. Oh no, Quinton's coming in to finish the game off. And it was a worry, but it's becoming not very much of a worry anymore. Yeah. So RSL storms into Atlanta and drops 3 first half goals on them, securing a 3-2 road win, moving to 2 wins, 1 loss on the season. Here's a historical note for you. RSL's last 3-goal first half came in April 2024 against none other than Atlanta United in July of 2024. How about that? Same
That's
team,
great.
Same circumstance. Pretty cool. These goals were great, Kevin. World-class goals, I feel. Let's talk about the defense for a minute.
Yeah, and like we said, defense. I felt that back line, especially the first half, they were solid. They seem to be really. We talked about it last episode. They're just really working together. They just seem like they have a good relationship with each other. But in the second half, RSL had to change their defensive shape to a lower block, and Quinton and Glad and Engel had to put in a massive shift.
They worked hard. They had to work hard. That Atlanta attack is no joke. No joke.
And they brought it hard at us that second half. But they were absolute rocks in the first half. But with all that, defending and everything, you had to think that they getting a little tired, you know?
Yeah, for sure. They look gassed toward the end.
Yeah. Marinchuk finished with a brace, got 2 goals. So the second half wasn't ideal for RSL, I don't think, but yeah, and like you said, Marinchuk, he's a different level of playmaker, you know.
Sure.
But and RSL, they gave up a lot of possession, especially in that second half, and Atlanta finished with nearly 60%. The last 15 minutes, we really had to bear down and finish it out.
Yeah.
3-2, we're only a goal up, and they kept coming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing of it is, Kev, is the thing with games like this, it starts out so good and you just feel like you're going to have the momentum like this and just push all the way through. But, we're on a professional level of soccer, and these teams aren't just going to lie down. And it may not be pretty, like you said, but the second half, they were able to find a way to finish this game off. Pablo's boys are starting to take his mentality and show his mentality on the field, and it just shows a lot of resolve and a lot of grit that he talks about almost every match so far this year.
Yeah, and then in the 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes again for the second, really, I would say the third week in a row, Cabral, he came up huge with 2 big saves to keep it at 3-2. And the tactical discipline this very young RSL team has to close the game up in a very loud Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it showed a lot from the group to close out a game like this.
For sure.
Because for the spell about 15 minutes, it got a little scary, but the team didn't panic and they pulled it off.
And it always helps to have a wily veteran at goal in Cabral. I mean, it didn't look like he was having the loudest game, but boy, he showed up at the end. Let's talk about report cards, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you pick 3 players. I'll do the same. And let's just talk about what kind of an effect they had on this match.
Okay. You want me to go first, or?
Yeah, you go ahead. Take the mic.
All right. Okay, for my first pick, I'm going to go with Xavier Gozo. For this young player, he's done so much. This year, he's kind of in a new position. He has new responsibilities, and he's playing more of a defensive role, but also getting up, pushing up, and he's just shown me how much more of a player he really is. His passing, and then that goal he had with his off foot. I mean, he's really shown really well for me, and so that would be my first pick.
Yeah, he's matured a lot this season.
Yeah, and then Morgan Guilabogi. For the first time, we saw him come into to play for RSL when he was subbed in last game to this game, and just we thought that he would be our goal scorer, and at least I was hoping he was going to bring in all these goals, and I'm sure that's all going to still come for him, but the passing and the level of it's been beautiful.
Yeah, it has surprised me too.
It's just been amazing. I just that goal, the assist that he set up for Salonis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just I mean, it doesn't get much more perfect than that.
No, he yeah, he's a well-rounded player. He does everything.
Yeah, and then my third one, and may not be popular for a lot of people, but Philip Quinton is my third. And like I said, I wasn't real sure what to think about him when I seen him get the start in that second game, but he's really come through, and the just the way he's been able to pass and defend and be in position. I just he's he's done it for me this year already. I think he's proved he should have proved to a lot of people that he belongs to where he's at.
Yeah. RSL fans, give Philip Quinton the proper kudos that he deserves.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He has played great in place of Yudlin. Great. Great take, Kevin. My three, I'm going to take two players. I'm going to mesh them together. I'm just going to say the wing play. The wing play of our 7 and 11. One man Sanabria and Goza. One man Sanabria, he had a 7.3 match rating. Goza had an 8.0 match rating. And they were every match, they overlap consistently. Instead of launching these hopeful crosses, they were cutting balls back onto the top of the 18-yard box. We are going to get so many goals this season by just that kind of play.
Oh yeah.
This is how Herzakani got his first goal of his RSL career against Seattle.
Yep.
It was a cutback ball. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a away cutback ball, but I mean, it was a cross, but it came back 2 or 3 yards, and he just pounded it back in the back of the net. We're going to see him and Morgan find these same kind of scoring opportunities over and over and over and over again. And I mean, Giovanni had that same opportunity, like, I think in the first 47 seconds of the match.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper had to make a great save, which still went off the crossbar. So he's close. They are so close of just being so. They already are dangerous because the counter that they incorporate is so fast and so deadly. It's almost like the teams that they've played so far, the 3 teams that they've played so far, they're playing with 3 back, and they just don't know how to counter what they're doing.
Yeah.
Number 2, the sub late in the game, Griffin Dillon, another homegrown player, Kevin.
Yep.
Made his debut for RSL. Up from the Monarchs, becomes the 8th new face that makes the appearance for the club this year in 2026. And he seems to be, my take on him, he seems to be a very similar player to Luka Moisa.
Yeah.
They do the same thing. They play the same position. Griffin Dillon won a lot of balls in that second half when we needed him to.
Yeah, he did.
And he was solid in the midfield, and he distributed the ball very well. My final pick is Noel Kalaskan. I think he's the lone German on it. He's always the first one back on defense in the midfield. He had 91% in passing accuracy, 100% in his ground duels, winning possession of the ball. He's only 25 years old. And as Pablo has said over and over and over in 3 straight matches, he's been the engine that has quietly been motoring this club. You don't hear his name.
No.
From the commentators on the TV. You do not hear his name. But that guy is a constant, and he's such a good player to have in your back pocket on that
Oh,
field
yeah.
to lead that young midfield.
Yep. Great pick.
Well, yeah, great. Thank you. Well, loyal listeners, Pablo Manestrone's era of dominance when scoring first continues. RSL improves, like Kevin said earlier in the show, to 48 wins, 10 draws, and 18 losses all time when scoring first. This season, they're 2-0. 2 wins, no loss. This season's going to be a lot of fun. I say this every show. I'm looking forward to it. So, Kevin, this Saturday, March 14th, Los Verdes, El Tri, the Verde and Black come to play our Real Salt Lake in Sandy, Utah. Fun facts about Austin FC. Do you know much about the history of this club? It's not a deep, long, old history.
Yeah.
But do you know
I don't
anything
know
about
much
it?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, here's some fun facts for you. Matthew McConaughey, we all know who that is.
Yep.
He's a minor owner, and I think he's about to 90% of those home games.
That's awesome.
And he leads the pre-match rituals, which is, I guess, just beating some beat into a drum. And his title for doing that is the Minister of Culture. Not sure what that means. Didn't look much more into it than that, but I thought it was pretty interesting. I think it's kind of cool that these celebrities are coming to these MLS games and taking interest in this beautiful game that we call soccer here, football around the rest of the world.
Yeah, and it just kind of shows how big the sport is becoming here.
Yes, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, me and you, we've played soccer when we were kids.
Yep.
All the way through high school, and we've always said this. Oh, it's growing so fast. It's growing faster now than ever.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yes. Back to the fun facts. They're the first stadium globally in the world to install 100% field lighting with tunable RGB. And if you don't know what RGB is, don't feel bad because I didn't either until I looked it up. It's just red, green, and blue LED lights. And you can tune them into whatever color hue you want to have, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
New technology is coming to stadiums near you. And 30% of their seats use a breathable mesh technology. I don't know what this technology is called. But in their stadium, because it's so hot in Texas, that's in 30%. I don't know why it's not 100%, probably because it's expensive, but 30% of their seats use this technology. And their signature canopy that comes into the stadium over top doesn't completely cover the field or the stadium, but it provides shade for all 20,738 seats that it has in that stadium. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Little things that that I kind of found. But Kevin, the boys are 2-1. They look so full of confidence, and now we face Austin FC. This team has had a bit of a roller coaster start this season.
Yeah, they have. They opened with a draw against Minnesota. Then they beat BC United 1-0. And they're coming off of a tough loss, 3-1 to Charlotte, where they had to play with 10 men for most of the match.
Yeah, they picked up that red card early, like 12th, 13th minute.
Yeah. So they're sitting at one win, one tie, one loss, and they'll be hungry to spoil our return home. You know, they have a dangerous attack trio, but they do have some major injuries, issues of their own. They have 3 starters that are all expected to be out.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like us.
Yeah. So yeah, it's almost exactly a mirror image of our situation. So it'll be two squads testing their depth early in the season. For RSL, the question is, the health of our veterans. We're still likely without, like we said, Luna, Olentunji, Yedlin. But mostly, Mike, after what we just saw in Atlanta, do we even change the lineup?
Jeez. I'm glad that we don't have to make that, or Pablo doesn't have to make that decision right now. I mean, no one likes problems, but if you're Pablo, this is probably the problem you want. You have Hizarkani and Gozo playing with zero fear. I mean, they're just playing so well. Their match ratings are out of this world for 18-year-olds. And if you're a loyal fan, you want to see these academy guys replicate what they've done on the road, the magic that they've shown in front of our 20,000 plus screaming fans at the Riot at America First Stadium on this coming Saturday night. My prediction, if we keep that high pressing discipline and that we showed in Atlanta on Saturday night, we take all 3 points, I think, pretty soundly.
Yeah. Like we've said, we still have several starters out. So, you can call it shorthanded if you still want to call it that. But the team is playing fearless. And, I'm with you. It's going to be a battle of the next man up mentality.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see the Riot rocking.
It's going to be a sight.
So that's going to do it for episode 5 of Into the Riot. We had a historic win in the books. The youth revolution is full in swing, and we have Austin FC on the horizon. It's not about the names on a jersey. It's about the standard of play, and it looks like this squad has bought into it. So beating Atlanta was not just a win, it was a culture shift.
Yeah, I agree with that. If Solanas, Gozo, Hizarkani, and Moisa keep this up, Austin FC, I think, is in for a very long night at the Riot. And listeners, if you're heading to the stadium this Saturday, get there early. This could be one of those special moments where you get to see into the future of the league and it changing and becoming the present right in front of you. If you enjoy the show, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review. It helps other RSL fans find the show, and it helps us too. We want to get better, just like everybody else. Follow us on socials like Instagram and Facebook for midweek updates and matchday photos. We'll be at the America First Field this Saturday, March 14th, as the boys look to keep this momentum rolling against Austin. See. From us here at the pod, stay loud, riot, and always believe.
Vamos Real!